We have our MCU Doctor Doom, and it's not any of the ones that we predicted in our Fantastic Four fan casting, but that's okay. We're going to talk about it. So this is Talk Punch. Thank you so much to both our audio podcast listeners and our YouTube viewers for joining us. I'm Brody. I'm joined by Tudong Dylan.
Hey!
And the nice pool of this Deadpool core, Charlie Hickman. If you like what you hear and you want to hear more of us, we do have a Patreon where you can go get exclusive content about topics that you will not hear on this main channel. You can find more information about that in the description below. And if you haven't already, we would love it if you subscribed and hit that notification bell so you can come back here every Wednesday to hang out with us and have some fun, because we're talking about the MCU and the big announcements that just came out of Comic-Con, with the biggest announcement being that we have our Doctor Doom in Robert Downey Jr. What are you guys' initial reactions when I sent you that on Saturday night? Charlie?
Surprised. I was surprised. It was not at all the announcement that I was expecting, not the actor I was expecting, and it just kind of like followed immediately by like a flood of questions, and I have like vacillated back and forth between like a Jekyll and Hyde, like it's brilliant, no, it's the dumbest thing ever, no, it's gonna breathe fresh life in the MCU, it's gonna ruin it, it's gonna bury the MCU, for just kind of this back and forth. So I am excited to talk through this with you guys because I am a little bit all over the place. What about you, Dill?
Hey, you know what? The one thing I can always use more in my life is some RDJ. You can't ever go wrong with RDJ. He's going to play Iron Man. He's going to play Doctor Doom. He's going to play Sherlock Holmes. Great. He's going to play Dr. Dolittle. I didn't see it. Knock yourself out. I love it. Absolutely love it. I don't know exactly. Tell me some of the questions that you have. Like Charlie, you were saying you got questions. Bro, you were saying you got questions. And there is one question that's very much on my mind.
Okay. Well, my big question, which is like the thumbnail of this video, is this desperation or is this genius from Marvel?
That's not the question I was expecting.
That's the question.
Desperation or inspiration?
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you need a little desperation to be inspired.
That's fair.
Maybe it was desperate. Maybe they're like, what are we going to do with Kang? Let me tell you, Kang who? Never heard of it at this point, because Doctor Doom is the way. And they really, let me tell you, they very much got my attention. Marvel had been slipping through the cracks. I haven't been paying attention nearly as much as I had before, but they got me right back. I personally think this is great. They're not going to screw it up. They got the Russo brothers back as well for both of the, Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. I am very much looking forward to it. They like I said, they grabbed us by our throats and they threw us down on the floor and they said, more RDJ. So give it to me. My big question is it going to be a Tony Stark variant, or is he actually going to be Victor Von Doom?
Well, that's one of the questions I had written down as well.
For whatever it's worth, and it's probably not worth much, on IMDb he is listed as playing Victor Von Doom. Now, whether that's accurate or not,
I'm curious. Are people going to be like, hey, it's Iron Man? Or are they going to be like, this Victor Doom guy?
I think that was one of my first. That was one of my first questions when I heard this was, okay, so is he, because we know that Fantastic Four is taking place in a different universe. And so is this just Tony Stark in that universe who made some different choices, had some different stuff happen to him and wound up becoming Doctor Doom, but is still Tony Stark? Or is he Victor Von Doom? And if he is Victor Von Doom, how does that work? Because he's Tony Stark in 616 and then Victor Von Doom in the Fantastic Four universe. So I don't know.
Be grossly disfigured, wear the mask. No.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't look anything like Robert Downey Jr.
Well, and okay, so that was another one of my questions, right? So we're getting Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. I'm guessing if he is Victor Von Doom, that he's going to be like a completely different character. One of the things I don't want, even if he's Tony Stark, is like just another Tony Stark. I want Robert Downey Jr. to play like totally different.
Yes,
but then at the same time, when he was Iron Man, he didn't spend the entire movie behind the mask. He was Tony Stark a lot and outside of the suit a lot. When in the comics, you know, he's really disfigured. He never takes the mask off. And so how is that going to work? Are we getting a disfigured Robert Downey Jr.? Is he in and out of the mask? Is he exclusively in the mask? Are they going to cover up Robert Downey Jr.'s face for the whole movie?
Oh, that's not. I mean, when you're working with a budget like this, you gotta show his face. But I mean, if he doesn't, if they make it that way, that's a very bold choice.
I don't know.
I think part of the reason I'm also thinking that it's not going to be Tony Stark variant is because what a waste it would be to kind of like show that now. Like can you imagine the shockwaves of like when the movie comes out and it's Doctor Doom and like nobody knows who's playing him or whatever, and it's just like all under wraps, and all of a sudden it's like it's a Tony Stark variant, and like the internet would explode and people would just be like going nuts, and look, we're getting some of that now, but like in more of like a nebulous kind of like we can't see that it's good or bad. We can just kind of speculate and theorize. Whereas if the reveal came in the movie in the midst of something that was either good or bad, people would have an instantaneous, wow, a good movie, and you'll never believe the twist. And then people would be, driven to go see it through that. So I think it's got to be I think he's going to be Victor Von Doom, in my opinion. I think that's probably where they're headed. I think he'll probably wear the mask most of the time, and if they do a face reveal, it's going to be a mangled, unrecognizable face. And I don't know, like what's the best part of Robert Downey Jr.? It's like his fast talking, cynical charm, like his charisma. Like, what are we going to get like a Dr. Doom who like
I don't want
banters?
that.
Are we gonna get like a real? He's got like henchmen and he's like just bantering with them and like and just kind of, I don't know, like does it take away like all the best parts of Robert Downey Jr.? Are we just like we don't get to see his face, we don't get to hear his charisma? It's like, are we getting like a Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool in Wolverine 3 where they're like, hey, let's sew his mouth shut. This will be the best version of Deadpool.
I don't think it'll go that far.
Really funny. What if he didn't talk?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that bad. It is still Marvel. It's not Fox.
I don't think I don't think gone are the days where it's like we're going to have a surprise. Because I mean, like these kinds of things still happen. People didn't know that Kelsey Grammer was going to be voicing Beast at the end of one of the Marvel movies or whatever, or the Marvels. The Marvels. That's it. The end of the Marvels. People didn't know that, and it's fine. And a lot of these times, like I don't think that Marvel would have wanted to wait for that. I think Marvel, they want their reputation back as soon as they're signing on Robert Downey Jr., even if he plays like a completely different character, not a variant. He's Doctor Doom, and he does it. I mean, it's dramatic and it's scary, and maybe it'll give us a good villain finally. And I mean, I think they're going to want to show that kind of a thing off right now. Marvel people are just continually like, oh, Marvel's done, Marvel's over, people don't care, this and this. And I mean, I never really went for it. I'm like, well, it's not my cup of tea, but maybe we'll get there. I'm not sure. This is the kind of thing that made me personally like, oh, well, now I really want to follow this a lot more.
Well, I mean,
I think that.
You think what? Go ahead.
I was going to say, I would think that's, I mean, it'll make it. If he comes out in just those two Avengers movies, I hope they don't do that. I hope they bring him out in some other movies, I hope he is like a Thanos, like a long running character, although he really didn't come out except for Infinity War. Either way, I don't know. I hope that it's like a completely different character. I'd be happy most general ways. I mean, like, unless they do this thing where they're like, Tony, it's you. And he's like, who's Tony?
Yeah, I don't think I want that. But I don't know. You're gonna have to get around that somehow. Like everybody's gonna see his face and be like, "Hey, we know you." So I don't know. I think to your point of Kelsey Grammer hiding and them not revealing that was for like a voiceover of like a 1-minute cameo. I don't think they'd be able to hide Robert Downey Jr. filming an entire movie.
Oh, well, but they would introduce him before that movie. Like he'd show up in a post-credit scene in like Fantastic Four, and that's the reveal. And it's like, or like a scene in that or something. You could like slow play it and put it out. Like, I mean, for instance, like it's like certainly the buzz is now everyone's talking about this, which is great, except that shouldn't we be talking about Fantastic Four? Like we're not. Like it's like this whole like
people are.
We're not. Why aren't we talking about that? You can't tell me it didn't steal a little bit of the thunder from Fantastic Four and some of the other Marvel projects. Like maybe we'll get to it. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about it. But you can't tell me that that's the star. Like the biggest reveal, obviously, is Doom and it's Downey Jr. And that's gonna be the buzziest headline and the most hotly debated with people with the strongest opinions. Like that's gonna be like, the most like made for social media topic, other than like, oh, cool, like Fantastic Four set in the 60s or whatever.
Like this is a reveal. We did a whole podcast episode when they revealed the Fantastic Four cast. I think it's just, and we don't have a whole lot else to talk about. There was like a really early teaser clip, that they revealed at Comic-Con, but they haven't released that to the public.
They're revealing timeline stuff. We got Galactus teasers, and we're just kind of like, eh.
Well, we know.
Are we talking about Daredevil? Are we talking Daredevil? We talking
talk about with Daredevil?
It's coming.
Oh, wait, did something come out with Daredevil?
See, you guys don't even know.
Oh,
came out with Daredevil. I would love to see a trailer for Daredevil.
Other stuff came out. We had Thunderbolts stuff. We had
Thunderbolts.
Other stuff.
Yeah, but see, like what came out from that? Like I didn't see any. There's not a Thunderbolts trailer out yet.
No. There's not a trailer, but all the people came out and they announced, the people.
We got Captain America stuff.
Captain America, Captain America was one of the big ones that they showed at Hall H.
We're gonna get Red Hulk. Harrison Ford as Red Hulk.
Did you guys see like when he came out in Comic-Con? He like he did like his Hulk roar kind of a thing. Oh, yeah. It was really nice. Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm gonna butcher the quote, but Harrison got asked if who handles snakes better, his character from Thunderbolts or Indiana Jones. And he's like, I like to handle these kinds of questions with the utmost respect, but also the utmost disdain. So I will not be answering it as a stupid question, but thank you so much for asking it.
He is such a grumpy old man.
The grumpiest dude. I got nothing but respect for the man.
And yet people still love him. It's just.
It's a dumb question. Like, what's he supposed to say? Like, come on. I love it. He tells that he's gotten to an age where he can be that lovable grumpy. Like, it's not a good look if he was 25, but like at his age, he can, hey, come on. We're like, God, Gramps, you tell it like it is.
And I think somebody asked him about his Hulk transformation, and I think he said something like, "I've done worse for money" or something like that. And that's when he did like his Hulk out, impersonation of how ridiculous he looked. It was something like that. That's not like a direct quote at all, but
he's a grumpy dude. But he's fun. He's fun. Like if he's fun grumpy. Tommy Lee Jones is like the opposite of that. Dylan, can we get a little Tommy?
Outhouse, hen house, barn house.
If they remake Grumpier Old Men, that's the casting I want. Like Grumpy Old Men starring Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones as like feuding neighbors.
Wow.
Well, real quick before we move on, because it is the thumbnail. Charlie, is Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom? Is it desperation or is it genius?
I think it's definitely desperation, but that doesn't mean that it can't also be genius. I can't put a label of like positivity on it, like an official stamp. Not that anyone needs my official stamp until like I see some more like stuff about it. I need more information to like get excited about it. I think he's a fantastic actor, but like I don't know. There's a lot of really good actors out there.
as good as Kiefer Sutherland?
No, and this may like rob us of getting like his return in the Iron Man character. Like that's probably off the table now, which is a bummer.
Oh,
So it's and we could have had another great actor join the MCU. Like I think part of the fun of like these casting things is when we get like a surprise of an actor we haven't seen in a role like this. Like there's just so many great talented actors who could have brought some gravitas to the role, some really interesting things. And I'm sure Robert will do a great job, but it's just like, I don't know. It could be genius, but for now I'm just, desperation.
Dylan, what's your quick answer to that?
If I had to only choose one, because I think it's a little bit of both, and it makes sense. They are in a spot, like they've been in a spot where they have not been in before. But I'm going with inspiration. You can't give me some more RDJ and have it be bad. Now, were they in a desperate spot? Absolutely. Did this fix it? As far as I'm concerned, for now, absolutely. Because before, everybody was just taking a big fat dump all over the MCU. One thing does well, and they're like, they're back. And then one thing doesn't do well. Oh, they're gone. Another thing does well, they're back. And then another thing, they're gone. This is going to make it so people are watching it again. I hope that this makes it like it was before, like phase one through 3.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was going to see these. You had to be up to date on it. And then they shuffled off on that. So I'm going, was it desperate? Absolutely. But it was total inspiration. I'm for it. And always give me some more RDJ.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was one of my first thoughts was like, boy, that is a desperate move. I mean, we kind of experimented with this latest phase and not a desperate move in like a bad way, right? I think it's a desperate move in like okay, hopefully we can turn this ship around, but like, things aren't going well. The movies haven't been making as much money. The movies haven't been getting the praise that they used to. What do? Okay, let's bring back Robert Downey Jr. Let's bring back the Russos. Let's scrap this whole Kang thing. As far as we know, Kang may still play a part, but I don't know. They've already changed. It's not called the Kang Dynasty movie. It's called Doomsday.
Yeah.
So like, whether Quantumania and Loki was just like the last that we see of Kang, we'll see. But it does seem like a kind of like desperate move and not uncalculated, but definitely a desperate move of like, okay, we got to make some changes. We got to do something. What can we do? Let's go to the guy that kind of set all this stuff up that everybody loved. So I hope it turns out to be a genius move. But I think it is a desperate
question. Now, would it be worse? Like, okay, just from where it is right now, from what we know, because we have no idea how it's going to be. We don't know if it's Tony Stark. We don't know if it's Victor Von Doom. We don't know if he's going to like just be a voice. Is he going to be there? Is he going to take the mask off? Just from where you're sitting, do you think that this is? I mean, I look at this as a positive. I really do. I think this is interesting.
I do too.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a positive move. So hopefully it plays out.
Having him come back and then come back as, okay, now, which do you think would be worse? Which do you think would be more desperate and less positive? If them doing it like this or them bringing Iron Man back?
I think I would much rather have him come back as Doom. I'm much more interested in, I'm much more interested in what he can do with Doom. Like, look, we're not going to go through.
When we did the Replacing Kang podcast, links below, I put Doom on my list with the caveat that the reason like he wasn't my number one was because I was terrified that if they threw him in to replace Kang, it would be rushed and it would be done in a way that didn't allow the character to like be the maximum version of itself. And that's kind of like, is this like they're sitting in a room and they're like, we need to do something, and they have like this break glass in case of emergency. Russo and Downey Jr. Let's go, bring them out. We don't have a script for that. Doesn't matter. We'll do it in post. We'll figure it out. Like we'll piece it together. How hard is it? There's comic books about this stuff. Let's go. And so that I do have a little bit of a fear that like this is gonna be like a shadow, and it's gonna we're gonna have throwaway projects now, or like I don't know how excited people are going to be for what's coming between now and then. It'll be interesting. I hope it's great. I really do. But this is like one of those moves where if it doesn't work, then there's going to be like a lot of people
true.
dancing on some graves here.
That's
for
true.
the
People are
MCU.
gonna be pissed if it doesn't work out. But I
I
love
don't
Doctor
think they're
Doom.
gonna
I
let
grew
it
up
happen.
loving Doctor Doom. I love Doctor Doom way more than I love Iron Man, so I'm excited for it.
Wow.
Yeah, Dr. Doom.
I love
mean, he's
Doctor. Ever
Dr.
since
Doom
I was a kid, I loved Doctor Doom. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. Okay, so I think overall we're all intrigued. We're all
Oh yeah.
Intrigued for
positive.
sure.
Thinking kind of positive. This is a good step.
Always
so
more
we'll-
RDJ.
We'll chat more about Fantastic
Hollywood.
Four.
Kiss
as it
Kiss
comes
Bang
out.
Bang 2. It's right there. Just
Yes.
freaking make it. If we of course we want more RDJ. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang 2. Please, for the love of God. Come on.
All right,
We can
well,
make Val Kilmer learn sign language for the role. He could totally do
Oh
it.
gosh, I love him. Well, poor Val. Val couldn't probably do the sequel, but his son could. Sounds just like him.
all right. So for kind of the next part of our podcast here, because we do these podcasts monthly, we like to just kind of have loose conversations. A lot of times we have more structured. We do a lot of lists, a lot of rankings, top threes, all that fun stuff. But we do like to have
Brody likes the structure.
conversations. I do love structure, and these are structured too. So we've had our conversation on Doctor Doom. Now let's talk a little bit, just because I like talking to my friends, about what you guys are watching. What have you guys been watching lately? Movies? TV? You guys been to the theater lately?
All right, look, you're asking us that. You're the friend who's asking us the question because they want to brag. Go ahead, tell everyone you went to the theater. We didn't go to the theater. You got to see Deadpool already. Go ahead.
I did get to see Deadpool. I went to the Thursday night showing. I saw a 9:30 at night showing, and boy, I was so scared. I was gonna fall asleep. I was so worried because I've fallen asleep.
Fall asleep during Deadpool. Come on now.
No, even at action movies, I fell asleep in the theater for Thor Ragnarok. I fell asleep.
When?
Towards the end. I think I missed the whole, he lost his eye. I missed all that. I kind of came to and he was missing an eye, and I was like, oh, I guess I fell asleep.
Wait, what?
So I made sure to have some coffee beforehand and stuff like that. But yeah, so a 9:30 show, got out at 11:30, but it was really good. And for people that watch this show, know that I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan. I don't like.
Which makes no sense, bro. No sense. You love Ryan Reynolds, and
I
the
love
role
Ryan Reynolds.
defines him right here.
I love Ryan Reynolds. I enjoy Deadpool, I guess. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. It's not my favorite, but it's fine. But I really liked this. I thought that I was originally very surprised that Hugh Jackman came back as Wolverine because he said he was done after Logan, and then somehow, some way, they brought him back, and he was great. I mean, Hugh Jackman is just great. He's, he's still such a good Wolverine, and it's been like 20 years, man. I don't know, but it was great. The cameos were abundant. The language was very abundant.
Colorful.
Very colorful language.
Lots of blood.
A lot
Wolverine
of blood.
slash people up.
Oh, a lot of blood. Which, seeing Wolverine in that with lots of bloodshed was a different thing. We've always had our PG-13, aside from Logan. But even that wasn't.
It was gritty.
It wasn't the same type of violence and blood. Like, this was definitely a Deadpool. It's definitely splattering a lot more than kind of the Logan stuff. But it was good.
Does love
I really enjoyed
that Deadpool.
I really enjoyed it. So there you go. There's my review. I think on Letterboxd, I was thinking about 4 out of 5 stars. I think I gave it 3.5 out of 5, but it could be a 4.
Hey.
It could.
Our resident Deadpool hater, Brody himself.
I don't hate it. I just got done saying I liked it.
You say it's not the worst. It's fine.
It's funny how you talk about Deadpool the way Charlie talks about Batman. He's like, he's not the worst character in the DC universe.
I love Batman. I just like a certain type of Batman that we seem to be getting further and further away from. Although I will say we got some of the detective Batman back in the Batman, right? Wait, he's a detective. I want to see him detecting. Is that so much to ask? Why are we talking about Batman? I have not been watching Batman.
We're not talking about Batman.
What have you been, Charlie? What have you been watching?
Man, I've been thinking about this, and I just it's been the Olympics, right? I've been watching a lot of the Olympics. My wife is not a huge sports fan, like not like the big four. She tolerates my fantasy football predilections and my baseball love, but we play a lot of volleyball together and softball and things like that. But when it comes to watching sports, she's not really that into it. But once every 4 years, she turns into a fanatic, and she is like an Olympic, just like connoisseur, and it can be whatever, like a new sport. They added underwater synchronized archery, and she's like, okay, we're watching this. Let's do this.
Sounds great.
That's like kind of fun. Coming to the Olympics next Olympics. But so we've been watching a lot of that. We love volleyball, so we love watching the beach and the indoor stuff together, and that's been a lot of fun. And then we recently watched Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Amazon Prime, the TV show, and we kind of we watched it, and I don't know why. Okay. Like, we didn't really enjoy it. It was much different. It was much different than we were anticipating. Like, if you kind of go in expecting it to be funny, I think you'll be disappointed. And it's labeled as a comedy. It is not a comedy. If you're expecting a lot of action, I think you'll be disappointed. It does that thing where it sets up an action scene and then it'll cut to like after the action scene is done.
Yeah.
I hate that.
And there are, not that there aren't any action scenes. There's a few, but like it really is like an interpersonal relational drama that is like set with like two characters that do not have a lot of chemistry together, that there's no reason to really root for them because they are put together. They are paired together. It's like an arranged marriage. So there's not really like I really rooting for those kids to work it out. They're literal assassins who just murder people. So trying to think of them as like real human beings, like really kind of makes you go like, well, maybe they don't deserve to be happy. Like they kind of just kill people for a living. Like I don't know, like, am I really like that invested in like the lives of these assassins or whatever? And we just kind of like, and the episodes, it's not like a through line. It's like each episode is just like some moment in time. So it's like, there's they're kind of like little, almost like capsules. And so there's like time jumps, and it kind of almost makes you feel like, did we miss an episode? Like, what's happening? Like, it's just like all of a sudden there's like gaps of time and things. And it's just, I don't know. It wasn't like, I love Donald Glover, and I just like, it's like they told him to try to be as like boring as possible, which is like hard. Like, just like, I don't know, like I picture the director going, no, Donald, you were too likable. We need to do that again. Your voice has got, it's getting a little too much inflection. You're being too charming. We need to dial that back, buddy. Can you just talk a little bit more quieter, deeper, and more monotone? Like, I don't know. It just wasn't like, it wasn't for us. Maybe there was a time in my life where I would have really loved like a deep, introspectual into like a deeper look into the love lives of like sociopaths or psychopaths. And maybe that would be
getting a second season though.
It is getting a second season.
But it's not having the same characters.
It's not the same characters?
I don't believe it's not the same characters. I also gave this one a shot, and I stopped. I'm very glad that you let me know this, because I was just like, there's no reason for me to keep watching this.
Yeah, we kind of just kept going. I don't know why. It's like one of those ones where we just kind of like had it on. And then like as we watch more episodes, it was like more and more of like phone scrolling and like leaving the room. But like, hey, you want me to pause it for you? No, that's good. I'll be back. Like just keep it going. We just got to finish it.
How many episodes is it?
It's like 8 or 9 or something like that. It's, it's not
a lot of time, Charlie. Think of how many movies you could have watched in that time.
Oh, man. I could have watched Deadpool like twice, man. It would have been great.
It's true.
Tudong, what have you been watching?
I'm still getting through the Golden Girls. The wife and I will get at the end of the day, we're like, yeah, let's put our show on, and There it is. Thank you for being a friend. But one thing that I've watched that's new, oddly enough, it's on Netflix, even though I don't exactly have Netflix, and I didn't borrow anybody's password or anything like that, but I did see the part 1 of season 6 of Cobra Kai.
Oh, that's right. That just came out.
I enjoyed it. I like seeing the guys working together. That first episode was probably my favorite because at the end they're all together and they're like, you see Johnny and Chosen and they're sparring, but with smiles. They're not like gonna kill you. They're like, hey, and they even get Daniel in on it. All of the other rivals are together. By the end, everybody is of course arguing again, and oddly enough, it kind of really makes sense. I had to really think about how part 1 ended. Because I was really enjoying. I was like, I hope somehow Daniel and Johnny can like make it work towards the end. I know Chosen's coming back. Chosen is easily my favorite character, Yuji Okamura. I'm a big fan. I know he watches all the time, so I just want to say hello. But fantastic, Kona. Like he has a restaurant. It's like Kona Island or Kona something in Seattle. Oh, I didn't go and get to see it. Now he's not going to be there because he's filming Cobra Kai. Either way,
he's got one in real life. He's got a restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but
we should all go.
Yes.
Talk Punch road trip.
Now you're talking, but only if we know he's going to be working. Because I want to go in there and be like, "Where's Chosen?"
That's true.
I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just kidding. Do not hit me. I'm just kidding. It's Mr. Okamura. I'm just kidding. But yeah, definitely my favorite. Do you guys ever watch any of the Cobra Kai?
Nope.
I watched. We talked about it a little bit. Like I kind of started on it, and then everyone in the high school started doing karate, and it just felt like I was watching like the first season of Glee again, where all of a sudden like it's just like slowly everyone on the campus is like singing except like with karate, and it's.
I'll be honest. Like I really. It's not that I dislike the actors. I do when they were angry and bitter at each other. I was like, come on, like this is kind of stupid, and a lot of their karate is. It's preposterous. It's not even karate. It's almost like they're doing some other sorts of things. And they're flying through the air, and I'm like, this is not. But hey, once you get back into season 3, because I can't even remember watching all of season 1, and definitely not season 2. But I went back and I saw season 3 and then 4, and I was like, because that, Chosen comes back in that. And then season 5, he comes back again. And I was like, yeah, we're getting with the older fellas. The older generation that I can relate. Terry Silver's coming. I hope Terry Silver's coming back. Seeing a rematch with Chosen and Silver, or even like any of those folks. You get to see Johnny fight Mike Barnes. Oddly enough, Johnny won. I was like, what? And it was like an actual fight because he comes back. Mike Barnes. You guys remember Mike Barnes from season part 3? Yes. No. I don't know. Either.
It's been a while.
That's what I was watching, and I thought it was great. I like watching the stuff on on YouTube about like all of those sorts of stuff when they're breaking it down or they're coming up with different sorts of where it's going. It's the last season. It's in 3 parts. I can't believe. I'm glad I don't have Netflix. It's ridiculous.
When you see it, are you constantly picturing the Ralph Macchio Elizabeth Shue kiss? From our worst kiss list, where he's like,
that's actually that's a teaser for an upcoming episode. That is not
upcoming.
That'll
episode,
be coming out. When is that coming out? That is coming out. I just scheduled it today. I believe it's coming out
I thought it was out already.
The 28th of August. 28th of August.
All right, stay tuned. You're going to see Ralph Macchio try to swallow someone's entire face. Unhinge his jaw and try to go like a Cobra Kai and just swallow a whole face.
I am also watching House of the Dragon. So I am watching a TV show. Aren't you guys proud of me? I'm watching a TV show.
I am proud of you, bro. I am proud.
And I'm caught up with it too. It's not even like I've been slacking. I've been staying on top of it.
Isn't that a prequel to
Game of Thrones? It's like a couple hundred years. It's like 300 years before Game of Thrones, though. So it's like it's connected, but much different. Much different.
Better?
I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Is it better than the original?
It depends on which season you're talking about. The first seasons of Game of Thrones were great. The last ones were not. So I don't know where I'd rank it. But I'm enjoying this.
Game of Thrones.
I don't want to rank things because you guys are going to like come at me and be like, boy, Brody, your ranking system is all jacked up.
Hey, we want consistency.
I can't remember either of us ever in our lives saying oi.
Oi.
I didn't say oi.
Oi, Brody. Oi, Brody. Let me ask you.
Oi, let me tell you something over here.
All right.
Makes me think of Dick Van Dyke. Oh, let me tell you, Mary.
Quick plug for two things. Number one, I did watch Invincible season 2. It's fantastic. If you guys haven't watched Invincible
I still
on
gotta
Amazon
finish season
Prime,
1.
it is great. Well worth it. Number two, they did announce Comic-Con. We got season 2 Silo coming soon. We got Steve Zahn added to the cast.
Oh, nice.
Silo is fantastic. If you haven't watched that on Apple, I'm very excited for season 2. So,
Charlie, did you ever finish Dark Matter?
I will do that.
Charlie,
I will do that.
You just told me you watched 8 episodes of Mr. and Mrs. Smith that you didn't like watching. And here I'm telling you there's an amazing show that you're already a couple episodes in. Just finish it. Just finish it. I'm going to ask you next week.
All right. I'm on it.
Yeah, we watched this show. None of us liked it. We didn't even
we all
leave the room and didn't even want to pause it.
You guys are both married. Have you not had the experience where you're like pretty sure that maybe the person you're watching with is enjoying it, so you don't want to ruin look, I'm aware that when I'm enjoying a show and engrossed in it, that I can speak very positively and eloquently about the show, and I can try to inspire people to watch. Like, if you want to go back and watch previous episodes after season 1 of Ted Lasso, when I'm imploring you guys to watch Ted Lasso.
And I watched it.
And I'm also aware that exactly. And if I'm not into something, I have an ability to maybe make it sound real bad and nitpicky. And I start making little comments during the show. You know, we're watching something and I'm like, oh yeah, like this person became a world-class assassin in a year, you know, and I start kind of, a little snarky. And so when we're watching something, I try not to say negative things. And then, but sometimes we end up in a game of television show chicken, where I'm like, but she's probably liking this. So let's just watch it a little bit. And then she's thinking, well, he's obviously enjoying it, so we'll just watch it a little bit. And then a couple episodes in, I'm like, hey, are you liking this? And then she's like, well, not really. And I'm like, me neither. Let's keep going. I don't know why we finished it, but we did.
I don't know.
It had to get better. It had to get better. It didn't. But it had to.
Clearly it didn't.
Yeah.
It should have.
So that's what we're watching. Let's move on to the next segment. Mailbag. Charlie, give us some mailbag.
All right, we got an interesting one today. So Ryan Lochte at 10-Minute Mail sent us in a question here tonight. It is a multi-part question, and it is centered around the big global event that is underway as we speak, the Olympics. All right. I'm going to try to read this in my Ryan Lochte voice, which is not too dissimilar from this voice, but like, whoa. I've often heard Charlie talk about how he wished there was an everyman who was in the Olympics so that we could see just how amazing the athletes are. What if you were each selected to be the everyman at the Olympics? What events do you think you would look the most competent in? What events would be the most fun for you to try? And which events would you literally die doing?
I can answer the third one. I can answer the third one. I would die in the swimming. I was watching those guys swim last night with that French fella, Leon, and the guy was blowing through the water. But I'm watching this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would be breathing so hard and I would just fall to the bottom of the pool and would just die.
I would say, if I had to say which one I would die in, probably any of the running ones. Where you had to have speed, like the short bursts, the hurdles, all of that stuff.
I've seen you run.
I would probably die of fright. Huh?
I've seen you run. You're a great runner.
Yeah. Not right now. Now I probably one of my bones explode. I'm not saying that my form is bad. I'm just saying I haven't done it in way too long. I will say that do they still have those pole vaulting in Olympics?
Oh yeah.
That, or do they still have the high diving?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would die of fright. I would die of going up and then down or just jumping.
The triple Lindy.
Yeah. Rodney Dangerfield, he for some reason he was like, this kid, he comes up to me and he's asking me, he's like, hey, did you actually do that triple Lindy? He's like, because my mother says you didn't do it and I say that you did. And he's like, I told him, hey, listen to your mother. So yeah, if it was a triple Lindy and I had that sort of special effects, not great special effects, but special effects, then that would be okay. Plus he jumps from like the highest dive down to the lower ones. That's probably the only way I'd be able to do that. I can't see a lot of these where I would even be competent. You know what? I'd like to try fencing. I've done fencing, but if I had to,
fencing before.
I've done fencing as well. I like that one a lot. That one, I'm disrespecting fencers by even saying that, but I have training in fencing, and that definitely have that. I would train for that one. That'd be a lot of fun.
It's such a leg workout. Your legs just look so bad after fencing. Charlie, what would you die at?
I would die at a lot of things. I would literally die in a lot of the different events. I would die in trampoline for sure. Have you seen how high those trampolines bounce you? I would.
There's a trampoline event in the Olympics.
Yeah. And they're just. It's really fun to watch.
What?
It's yeah. You got to watch trampoline at the Olympics. You got to branch out. You got to watch the minor sports, are sometimes even more fun than the big ones. But I would fly very high, and it would be like one of those cartoon pratfalls where like my body bends in all the wrong directions, and it's just kind of slowly twitching on the ground. Surfing, I would be dead. Skateboard, dead almost instantly. I would be dead trying to do the pommel horse, or at least parts of me would be dead.
Pommel horse is exceedingly difficult. I have never even gotten like a couple of seconds of that. I have done like the parallel bars, and I have like nothing fantastic or anything, even the rings, but I mean the pommel horse is shockingly difficult.
Yeah. I wouldn't die swimming, but I might die doing water polo.
Oh yeah.
How they keep those legs kicking. That boxing for sure. I would get hit once, and then they would just my lifeless cartoon body slowly twitching on the ground. The everyman is down. It was one lethal stroke. He is absolutely devastated. His face is on the wrong side of his head.
Oh man. He's got no teeth.
He's got no teeth, no nose.
I would certainly die like trying to do the BMX freestyle. That would be. And anything with a horse. I've never ridden a horse. I would be instantaneously just, I don't know, bucked off and or just stomped through, like just a hoof through my chest somehow. And then they drag around my cartoon twitchy body.
Is there a sport where they like slide some sort of a disc on ice?
That's the Winter Olympics.
That's Winter curling. Olympics. Curling, absolutely.
Curling. You know what? There you go. I don't think I would pass away curling.
I would be. This is a bad take, but I think I could look competent doing a good floor routine. I think I have the right amount, or maybe some artistic gymnastics. I think I've got the right flair for that. I think not that I could pull off the big flips and things.
Yeah,
but
I was going to say like the stuff that Simone Biles does.
No. She's an alien. She's one of one. The stuff she
in
can,
a good way.
Oh, 100%. Like the stuff she can do is just like otherworldly. It's absolutely incredible. And really all these athletes are absolutely incredible. So I certainly do not want to make light of that. But I could dance, and I feel like I could move the hearts of people.
Would you be like a superhero theme with the theme song coming in, and you're wearing at least part of the they're thinking like Spider-Man outfit but with no mask?
No. I would do something. I would do something like an ode to a lost soul, and like tell the story of a husband who lost his dear wife, and maybe hold a picture, put on some really sad music and ribbons, around, and just I want people to cry. That's my goal, so that they don't notice how unathletic and terrible I look doing the moves. My acting is gonna carry the story. The narrative is gonna be what carries me through. Not that I wouldn't win a medal, but we're just talking not dying and looking remotely competent. I wouldn't look competent doing that. Volleyball, I feel like I could take a spike off my face and live forever in meme form. Like they could, because I played a lot of volleyball. I would love to get out in the court, but these guys are huge. 6'8" guys. 6'7". Freaking Chase Budinger, I watched play in the NBA, and now he's playing for Team USA beach volleyball. That guy's gonna hit a spike so hard off my face that the ball will launch back over the net. But forever, there'll be a GIF of me just getting boom. Oh, my face blowing up, teeth flying in multiple directions, a spray of blood. And on the ball, it will look like Wilson because the blood from my mouth and my eyes would be on there. But man, I could get a serve in, and I could certainly get a couple of digs on the court. So in between getting hit in the face repeatedly.
I would do rifles. I think I might be competent at that. Probably not to the level that they are, but like rifles, I think I'd do that.
Somehow I'd probably end up shooting myself.
What about judo, Dylan?
The person next to you.
Judo would be a terrible one because
you're the judo king. It's literally your nickname.
It's true. It is your nickname.
Folks, just to let you know, that was a nickname in sarcasm. I have trained in judo, but it's like the worst martial art I've ever. I'm the worst at judo than the other martial arts that I've taken. It's not the worst. It is an excellent martial art, and everybody should train in it. Learn how to fall, learn how to throw. Fantastic, but
which is why you would be a great everyman for it,
right?
Because you know just enough, right? You know just enough to kind of get things started, but you'd still get your butt kicked.
I know just enough.
Perfect everyman.
Just enough. I have trained in it just enough that it would be shockingly embarrassing, where I'd be like, no, I haven't trained for this long. And it wasn't like it was every day or anything. But then when you really put it together, you're like, you'd think I'd be better. But yeah, no, I'd be a terrible everyman. You guys would be a better everyman at those.
Me at 20 or 25 would have been a great everyman. Me at the age I am now. You have to really want to watch somebody die on live television. The three of us, how about the three of us in a 3x3 basketball tournament?
Oh, that's a bad idea.
Do we get to train for it? Like, can we get our stamina up or something?
No.
Oh,
training.
Jeez. Oh, I'd be throwing up.
All right, last question here. If you could add one event to the Olympics, it doesn't even have to be a sport, but an event, so that you could actually compete for a medal. So it could be anything. It could be tying your shoe. It could be making the world's best depression casserole. It could be whatever, a beard growth competition. It could be anything that you think you could do well enough to compete with the best of the best. Well,
all right, now, Charlie, I've got to say, the first thing I thought of was, sadly, I was like, maybe a hot dog eating, maybe a pie eating, and I'm like, some sort of an eating challenge. That is something I could probably.
I want to see that. I want to see it, Tudong.
If you guys had to join
3x3 eating contest, now we're talking.
Now we're really talking. Now, if you guys had to do a contest where you had to eat the most of something, and it couldn't be pie, it couldn't be hot dogs, what would it be? Because depression casserole, I could pound that stuff. I'm going with depression casserole. If you guys had to do that, which would you guys do?
So no pie, no hot dogs?
No pie, no hot dogs.
This is tricky. I think that I'd have to, if you tell me I have to do it tomorrow, because I'm not in the right eating shape. Famously, I come from a long line of eaters. My sister's husband once remarked to her, "I figured it out. You have the stomach of a competitive eater," which is not a nice compliment to give your girlfriend. So just throwing that out. The pro tip to any of you who might be in the dating world. But it's not untrue. We are a family of eaters, but I might do hot wings.
Would they be hot, like hot wings? Or
there'd have to be a spice level that I felt like I could compete at. That's so like a hot sauce that like wouldn't kill me. Like I'm not trained up to like the hottest ghost pepper on the Scoville scale or whatever, but it could be spicy. And it's light enough like that I feel like I could get through a lot of wings, and I go quickly, like the thing where you put them in your mouth and then you pull it out and it's just bone.
Ooh.
I feel like I could do that. Like pizza's it's too much bread. I couldn't do that now. There's a time maybe I could do like all those carbs. I can't. Yeah. I wouldn't get very far.
Dude, I used to be able to eat like half or a whole pizza. I had like a couple of slices and then I threw them up. I'm like, what happened to me? Yeah. I haven't eaten pizza since. Broad, what about
maybe
you?
Donuts.
What are you going to eat?
Donuts.
Like any kind, or would they all be the same?
Oh, give me a mixture. I'm just going to keep eating them.
You have to dip them in water, like the buns.
Is it a speed challenge?
Well, it's a speed and also how much you got. It's like how much are you eating? You got to eat the most donuts in a certain amount of time. So I mean, it's speed and it's quantity. If you take your time, if you're just like, I'm going to finish all of these in like 3 days, that doesn't.
Over the next year, I shall eat 1,000 donuts.
Oh, that sounds great. I'll do that.
If you had to choose one donut, that's it. You get one type.
I love the French crullers. The kind that are still almost like a little doughy in the middle. So
good. What kind of donut is that?
It's the French cruller. What do you mean? What kind of donut is it? It's a French. It's like round, and it kind of looks like a nut. That's not helping. Like a nut.
That's the best start to describing a donut I've ever heard. It's kind of round. It's kind of cakey.
I'll show you.
Go on Bing, look it up. French cruller. Everyone's eating them in Paris for the Olympics right now. They're all crulling it.
That's true. That's a good point. They have competitive eating competitions in the Olympics. It's a very obscure competition in the Olympics because they don't usually go along those. They like things that are a little bit more death-defying. Although 3 people did die the last time they'd had them.
When I was 17.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
I love those.
That is round. That is round with a hole in the middle.
It's round. It kind of looks like a nut, right? Like you could it almost looks like it would be threaded.
It looks like a Honey Nut Cheerio.
I like the white frosting on top. So good.
Yeah, you do.
So good.
When I was 17 years old, I went through a summer where we played Marco Polo like relentlessly in my backyard pool, and I wrote out Olympic guidelines for how it could become a sport. It was like detailed, and it wasn't just Marco Polo. It was team based, and there were rules, and there was like this whole. It was elaborate and it was intricate, and it was designed in such a way that I was excellent at it because I was the one who was creating the rules for it. So I feel like the Marco Polo in the Olympics would be. Can you imagine how much fun that would be? World class athletes just walking around going like Marco Polo, fish out of water, and and flying through the air. Oh man, I would be all about that. Younger me could hang in that. Older me probably not. But spinball, Brody.
Spinball destroyed me. I am convinced I am still have equilibrium issues because of spinball, a sport that Charlie and I developed over lunch one time, and we wrote it all out. We went and we bought all the stuff. We taught everybody. We played it once, and I am forever messed up because of that one game, because I spun so much. I can't spin with my kids. I can't go on any spinning at Disneyland. I can't do anything because we came up with a sport called spinball where you just spin. It's just constant spinning.
There was a lot more to it, to be fair, but it was a lot of fun. I thought it was great. But my poor dear friend Brody almost died, so we never played it again. It was a sad end of the spinball era. What could have been, Brody? What could have been? That would have been a great one for like the Spike Network back in the day.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Well, we are coming up on an hour, so I think let's go ahead and wrap this up. Do you guys have anything else to add to this?
No, always fun to talk to you guys. We gotta get you guys in the comments. Let us know what you were most excited from Comic-Con, and of course your thoughts on Robert Downey Jr. As Doctor Doom. Let us know what you've been watching. Give us some recommendations, because clearly, if I'm watching stuff that I don't even like, I need some recommendations, people. Help me out.
After you finish Dark Matter. After you finish Dark Matter.
Never heard of Dark Matter. Is that good?
Charlie.
Anyway, watch some Olympics. Picture us doing it and dying. You'll thank me later. We'll see you next time.
Go eat a French cruller. They're delicious.
Are those round?